Welcome to the Serendipitous Rebel podcast. I'm Wendy.
And I'm Krystal. We're business coaches and retreat hosts for bold, purpose-driven women who are ready to build businesses that actually fit their lives.
This podcast is for the authentic, rebellious entrepreneur who's done playing by everyone else's rules. We know what works because we've lived it, coached it, and savored the journey.
Join us for real talk on business, life, and everything in between. Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of the Serendipitous Rebel podcast. My name is Krystal, and I am here with my co-host, co-founder of Serendipitous Rebel, Wendy.
Here are my
jazz hands.
Jazz hands.
That's She's got jazz hands. So for those listening, she just did jazz hands up.
Yes.
So we are here today, and so it is the beginning of summer. Some of you are out of school like I am. Our school just ended. Some of you have been out for a while. Wendy's kids have been home from college for a couple of weeks now, which completely blows my mind. Yes. Oh, so long. My kids have been home exactly 1 week. And then a few of you have a couple to go because you go in through June. But it doesn't change the fact that for all of us, summer is here.
Yes.
And I always think summer is so interesting because it's that temporal landmark, it's that changing of seasons, right? That we so often find ourselves in. And for a lot of us, I know I'm speaking for myself, we were coming off of May is such a chaotic time because there are so many transitions and closing things up, and they shove in every end of year project, transition, program, ceremony, and dress up day. In a 30-day period that my head was about to explode. And then you had conferences, and I have a SPED kiddos, so we had end of year IEP meetings, and we were still running a business.
Yeah.
And now we're having to look into the summer because both of us have major life things going on where we're having to reevaluate how we work and the schedule in which we work this summer. And I know we can't be alone. So we wanted to jump on and talk about how we were thinking through that at Serendipitous Rebel, the conversations you and I have had behind the scenes to prepare for the summer and how that has felt. Because there's just a lot going on at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Not to quote a Taylor Swift t-shirt. Well, there's a lot going on at the moment.
Yes. To use the word crazy would be an understatement. The interesting thing about this is that I think we started the conversation on the Valiant Lady during the mastermind retreat. We talked about hats. We talked about using our own runways to determine priorities. And what was interesting to me is I pulled this up. My big news is that I'm moving to Germany at the end of the summer for 3 years. Yeah.
Krystal, I mean, by the way, guys, just the woo is not that I'm excited she's leaving and
no, you're excited that you're visiting.
But I'm excited that I'm visiting and my German pack mule is going to be in play.
Yes.
There's going to be so many Haribo gummy shipments. It's not even funny, but that's beside the point.
Yes. And so there is so much tied to that. And it's wait, hurry up. Wait. Oh my God, you have 15 minutes to do XYZ. So I sat down because I needed to have some order to absolute chaos. In addition to the normal chaos, even though my kids are older, they're still once again in my space. And I think that intensifies. It was funny. The first, I guess it was like the first podcast that we recorded after they got home. I was like, they were like in my ear. They were in my face. And I'm just like, I love you. Go away.
They walked in on us recording like what, 4 or 5
I
times?
know. And I was like, go away, please.
Yeah.
I love you so much. Get out. But anyway, so I immediately went back and looked at, and when I say hats, for those of you who may be new to the podcast, really, those are what are your key priorities? What are you really focusing on in any particular, however you divide? Like for me, it's this particular season. So my priorities haven't 100% changed, except they have definitely in this particular summer shrunk, really shrunk.
Well, and I want to put a I want to put a pause there and really talk about that aspect because I think that when we think about the hats that we're going to wear, and we did a whole podcast episode on this. If you've not listened to that, I encourage you to go back and listen to that
Mhm.
episode. But when you think about the hats that you wear, it's really like I'm got my mom hat, my business partner hat, my wife hat, my volunteer hat.
Mhm.
It's all of the different roles that you
Mhm.
play. And if you think about yourself in your own stage production, which is
Mhm.
top of mind for me right now because my kid is in one right now. And so thinking about all the hats that you're going to take off and put back on for that role, right?
Mhm.
I think that we go into not just the summer, but any big season with a little
Mhm.
bit of magical thinking that we can juggle all of these hats
Yes.
and it will be fine, that we figure
Yes.
it out. And I think the reality of it is that every time you take off a hat to put on another one, there's a big transition that comes with that. It is like
Mhm.
a huge whiplash, one way or the other, of how I need to show up in this moment. Because how I show up for my kids is a little different than how I show up. It was a lot different than how I show up with you,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
And how
Sure.
I show up with our clients or even with my friends for the
Yeah.
summer, right? And there's all these different things. And so it is mentally exhausting to have to do 1,000 transitions. So I really
Totally
like
agree.
the idea that you've shrunk down the priorities and the hats that you're wearing right now because it's getting very, very granular and very, I'm trying to think the word.
Specific.
Very specific. I like
Hmm.
specific and
Hmm.
very specific and intentional. That's the word I was also thinking. Intentional
Hmm.
about the hat that you're wearing in that moment.
Very much so. Very much so. And I love that we started this, the conversation and the work back in April because I had foundations down. I knew that, my five hats were family and friends, what we call OCONUS, which is going outside the continental US, which is the move, content and community creator, endurance rower, and lover of learning. And
Mhm.
what is very interesting is I soon found, even though I had said to myself, well, I'm going to do this course, I'm going to finish this. And when I say course, it's more of a certification. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I had so many magical notions floating through my head. And
Mhm.
then I was like, absolutely not. Yeah. So I'm not 100% ready to like flush the lover learning completely down the toilet, but it has become already. It doesn't meet the runway of the time, the money, all of that, and the time, the money, the energy. The bandwidth, I just don't have it right now. And that was huge for me to do that. I even moved my rowing from medium to low. I
Mhm.
know.
Wow.
Crazy shit.
Dude, that's an
But
earth-shattering
I
moment.
also realized that I know it's crazy, but I also realize that I'll set up a new schedule when I get to Germany, but I have to, what are my priorities, And obviously getting out the door is a huge priority and everything that takes, and also being with, and it's interesting. Well, okay, let me finish the thought in that it's interesting, like family and friends are now absolutely the top. It's interesting, and I said this to you, I think, what did I say yesterday? That I'd rather just chit chat with you than do work at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry. And, but at the same time, work is important. It's just you no longer fit in that category. You've moved. You've always been there, but the
I'm I'm
emphasis is
I'm
more.
solidly in a friends and family category.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, and
Like
I think
Verizon.
that well, and I think it's really kind of looking and taking stock, and I think everybody needs to do this at with their business, I think
Yes.
multiple times a year. And I think that summertime is a great way to look at these transitions. And for us, we've got this, you've got a major life event, but also I have now the kids home from the summer and all of the other different things. It's a really great opportunity to take a look and say, okay, what is our runway? What's working?
Mm-hmm.
What's not? What is it that we have to shift in our business, and what do we really have to focus on to keep the
Mm-hmm.
wheels on, and
Mm-hmm.
what can we let go? What is it that we want this, how does this look, and how do we work together? Because with me having the kids home, there are 1,000 camps and different things that we have to go
Yes.
to.
Yep.
Sidebar, why are camps 2.5 hours long? This is stupid. um, I'm gonna go on a
That's it.
that's
That's
it.
it.
It's a 2.5 hour camp. So you got to drive over there, drop them off, and then come home, try and get things done in a 90-minute block and turn around and be back again.
Yeah.
I am incredibly blessed to have the flexible schedule that I have in the work that I do, because I don't know how working parents are doing it. That's neither here nor there. But the reality is that I have a lot of transitions in my day, a lot of stop and go, and I have less long blocks for you and I to meet.
Yeah.
You all at the same time are prepping for this international move. I've been on the other side of that. I know what that
Yeah.
entails. There's a
Thankfully.
lot.
Yeah.
There's a
You can
lot.
answer my questions.
I'm here for it. I'm here
Yeah.
for all the commiseration and the empathy of the detailing of the car and needing to get that delivered to a certain port at a certain time with
Ah,
like 1,000 copies of paperwork.
yeah.
But it's what it is that there's a lot of moving pieces in your world now. And so we had to look and say, okay, our time capacity has greatly reduced this summer to be able to
Mm-hmm.
meet. So it's again, understanding what systems do we need to have in place to make sure that this can run really well. Well, we need to work more asynchronously. So that's when Voxer comes
Mm-hmm.
into play, where we leave each other messages back and forth to
Right.
have conversations. That's where Notion comes into play, or any other project management tool that you guys might want to use, so that we can communicate with each other again asynchronously and be able to say, okay, this is in my court right now. I've got the ball. I'm working on XYZ. And when I'm ready to put it back to you,
Mm-hmm.
we have a project management tool set up in such a way that I can log in and I can say, okay, these are the things I'm supposed to be working on. These are the things and the deliverables that Wendy is waiting on for me to get this project moving. And we don't have to wait for the next 4 hour block for you and I to co-work and work through these things together. Because frankly, if we were waiting for that, we might be waiting a really long time this summer.
Well, yeah. Oh, definitely. And I think, and the thing also is, it's so important at the outset to have a conversation and set expectations. I mean,
Yes.
like we'll probably wait till the end to tease this, but you had said, left me a Voxer this morning, said, "Hey, I have an idea for this summer. Are you okay with it?" And I'm like, yes,
Yes.
glad you thought of it. And if I had said, well, maybe not, I think we would have then had the conversation to compromise, but I'm totally,
100%.
yeah. And I think those are the kinds of conversations that are really important. Now, granted, we are so fortunate that we have each other to bat these things off of. And it is, I do believe, more challenging when it's just yourself. But you still have to sit down and think about these things and reach, conclusions or decisions that best fit. And it has to be your life. While your business is super important, there's more of a holistic life that this is. And to expect to say, I have to, I normally work at my desk, so let's say from 9 to 12 every day. Oh my gosh, my kid has camp at noon. That means I have to leave at 11. it's like cutting yourself slack, giving yourself grace, and really sitting down and just plotting out how things are going to flow.
Yeah, it requires, yes, looking at the week ahead and changing my schedule. It's even changing our availability on our calendars because I think day one of break, we had a follow-up call with one of our mastermind clients right away at 9 o'clock. And that's like
Mhm.
the time I needed to drop Lorelai off from school,
Mhm.
not from school, for camp. And I think that for school schedules, that 9 a.m. meeting was just
Perfect.
fine. That's the way the
Hmm.
calendar was set up. It was like, oh, wait, I need to go actually and change my availability so that I can say, hey, this is
Right.
working, this is not. And again, I think that a lot of people try to stubbornly stick to something because that's just the way they do it. And I think part of being an entrepreneur and part of doing this work is learning how to go with the flow on things
Yes.
and learn how to, I'm so sorry, Lorelai, I'm recording. I don't care what it is. The answer is yes. Go do something else. Sorry. They're holding up signs at the window. I'm like, I can't read that. I'm old. Sorry, Jake. Okay. So it is learning how to go with the flow and pivot when necessary to take a really hard look at your schedule and make decisions, not based off of magical thinking, but about reality of what does this look
Yes.
like when kids are home and they need your
Yeah.
help making lunch every single day? And what does
Yeah.
this look like when I no longer have to leave to go do school pickups, but now I've got camps to account for and making sure those are in the calendar and that we're working around them.
And what just popped into my head, this was also, one of the conversations that came out of a mastermind retreat has to do with the phases we're in business: the run, the stall, the hiding, the shame spiral, the comparison cycle, spiral, the comeback. And I was really thinking or trying to think about what the heck does this mean during the summer? Like, how would any of us address being in a particular, phase or cycle of our businesses? And I always say the best thing to do is we will always have ups and downs. What is it that we can do to minimize, and so that we have speed bumps rather than mountains? You can get over a speed bump in a short amount of time with a short amount of energy. It's when you have mountains that you're kind of stuck.
Well, and I think that you hit the nail on the head just now is when you said it's about managing and setting appropriate expectations. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that when we look at any of those phases that we're in, I think that summertime, there ends up being a slump for a lot of business owners. And I actually don't
Mm-hmm.
care where you are in business, whether you have kids, don't have kids. From what
Mm-hmm.
we are seeing in our community and in our client world, everybody is feeling a slowdown of things right now. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's about realistically setting expectations, normalizing things, shifting expectations, which we had talked about in a previous episode as well. Like the fact of the matter is, we are in a trust recession. The fact of the matter is, we are slowing down in a lot of different ways. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that if you can set appropriate business goals and manage your expectations
Yeah.
around all of those things and
Mm-hmm.
factoring in your appropriate runways and all of that, then you're not setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for success. You're understanding that,
Yeah.
my revenue goal is going to be a little bit shorter this summer because I'm going to take on fewer clients so that I can spend more time with my kids.
Mhm.
Or
Right. Right.
maybe it's I'm going to not launch a major cohort course this summer because my enrollment numbers aren't going to make it worth my while to juggle all the other back end
Mhm.
things of my business. Those are all personal decisions you have to make for you, but setting up
Right.
those
Yep.
realistic goals means that you're managing your expectations so that you don't spiral
Yeah. Yeah.
later on.
Yeah. Oh, I I can't agree more. And it's such an interesting thing. And actually, I'll put this out there. We should probably actually do an episode like this in like February
Yeah.
when when you have, because I think one of the key pieces of this is really identifying as early as possible any warning signs that you know, like, well, like you just said, business is a little slow. If I run this and I don't get the numbers, and it doesn't mean you don't run it or you don't at least promote it or market it. It just means if you don't have your numbers, okay, I'm going to stand fast to, if I don't get 20 people, then I've weighed the options and the time with the kids is more valuable
Yeah.
or
And
something along those lines. Yeah.
that's personal. And for every business owner, that's going to be
Yeah.
different. But I think, and
Yep.
some of you might say, okay, I really need to run my launch this summer because I need the revenue because you've got to make money to put food on the table. Yes. I think
Sure.
it's about managing your expectations of, again, your bandwidth that you can put towards a launch, and manage your expectations of what that launch is going to look like in the summer versus in January. And I think if you can
Mm-hmm.
look at all of those things in a very realistic way,
Mm-hmm.
then that's setting yourself up for a successful summer instead of a summer where you're just swimming upstream constantly.
Yeah. So I heard someone say recently, design a floor, not a ceiling. So rather than trying to maintain your full pace or what you would normally, as you said, swimming upstream, build like a skeleton that's your floor of non-negotiables that do keep your momentum going, but may not require full capacity. And there, there are things that you can say, okay, not now. I'll regroup and focus on this at the end of the summer or whatever it is. Looking at what your main priorities are, whether that's, whatever your priorities are, and really a minimum viable presence. What do you really need? What absolutely has to happen that you have the continuity that you need and you don't have to amp it up.
Yeah, and
Now,
I think
of
you
course,
really, no, go
oh, I
ahead.
was just going to say, of course, if your business is you're running a summer camp, this is not quite, then this is a conversation to look at in December
Correct.
when you're doing holiday stuff. But yeah, but for many of us, this is our life.
Yeah, and I think that it's really looking at your ROI for what it is that you're putting things into. So
Mm-hmm.
really making sure you're being very intentional that the thing that you're getting out of at least at least as much, but preferably more out of something than what you're putting into it. And I don't care where that energy or effort or focus needs to go for you right now. But when you're evaluating your business right now, and I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday with a client, it was really taking a big look at her business model as a whole and deciding what, if there's other pieces that need to be downgraded or downsized, or where should the focus be? And I think that people look at this in
Mm-hmm.
marketing strategy too. They're constantly like, well, I should do this, 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 this. The reality of it is you put the most focused on the thing that's giving you the most return. So if you've never gotten a return off of
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, social media posting and DMs, that's really not where you're going to want to ramp up your energy right now, right? But if you get a lot of return off of
Right.
speaking engagements, setting up your fall speaking engagement
Yeah.
plan is a great thing to look at this summer. Okay. Summertime is a
Yeah.
great way to put these systems and things and foundational, like that floor plan that you just said, in place to make sure that that's all
Mm-hmm.
working for you in a really good way so that when things do ramp up in the fall, you're ready for it. But putting a ton of
Yeah.
invested time, effort, energy into an offer, a program, or a strategy that's never giving you any returns, yeah, that's really just not worth your time right now to try and figure that out.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. And being able to front load making those type of decisions is so valuable, because
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel this way, but there is death by 1,000 cuts every time.
Yeah.
There are these just like small choices. Do I post this? Do I did it that just really exhaust you as much as anything else. So I just think we all should have a great summer and survive the summer. Or maybe that's just me.
I am also trying to survive
No.
the summer, but I'm mostly just trying to enjoy the summer. And I think that's the big thing when I sat down with
Yeah.
you and when we were talking about what does the summer look like, I
Yeah.
really wanted a summer that I could enjoy with my kids, not feel, I know that I feel my
Yeah.
worst self when I'm trying to simultaneously parent and work at the same time, because I don't feel like I'm doing
Yeah.
either
It's really hard.
particularly
Yeah.
well. It's easy to
Mhm.
compartmentalize those two things when they're in school, but when they're home with me all day, that's much harder. So I feel like I'm either
Yep.
neglecting them or I'm
Yeah.
neglecting the job. So I think putting really strict boundaries around both gave me the mental bandwidth to say that it's okay for me to do like what we're doing right now. I'm recording the
Hmm.
podcast. We are,
Right.
and they are set up to do their own thing. And but I know that there will be a hard stop to this and I'll be able to turn around and focus on that. And that feels really good to have those clean lines.
Hmm. Amen. Amen to that.
So with all that being said, we are going to take this summer and take not a total break, but a little step back from our regularly scheduled new podcast releases. And so for the next month, we're actually going to pull back. Wendy and I talked this morning. We're going to pull back our old favorites. So you're going to hear from Wendy and I personally on
Yes.
why this is our favorite, what we've really enjoyed about this episode, and some real-time reflections about the episode. And then we'll be back with new episodes in July.
Yay. Yay. So everyone have an awesome start to your summer. And yeah. And I'm actually looking forward to doing going back. As I was like, ooh, there's still so many episodes that I love. How to narrow them down.
How to narrow them down. No, it'll be really fun to narrow those down. And then, like I said, we'll just do our own little, this was actually Wendy's idea. We're going to reflect on if there's anything that we would add to or change or put into this, and that'll be tacked on to the
Yeah.
episode. But I'm really excited about how that all goes.
Yeah. So we will see everybody. Not as soon as usual, but really soon.
But really soon. But if you're missing us, we are still going to be showing up in our Saber online community. The link for
Yes.
that is in the show notes. So if you're missing us in any ways, we will still be talking to our audience weekly in that community. But until then, we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a rating.
But only if you liked it. Otherwise, just keep it to yourself.
You can learn more about our upcoming masterminding opportunities on our website at serendipitousrebel.com.
And if you have topics you'd like to hear about, be sure to submit them on our website or DM us on social media.
Hey, see you next week. Bye.
Bye.